Jody Norstedt here again to chat about the game ball and top performers, but man, oh man, what was the biggest win this past Friday night? I'm not sure there's a clear-cut answer. Was it Mandan breaking through and scoring more points on Century than anyone has in 4 years? What a statement for the Braves as they claim the #1 spot in the polls. Maybe it was Davey stunning now former top-ranked and defending state champ Cheyenne, snapping the Mustangs' run of 20 straight wins in the regular season with a 35-6 victory. Did you hear about the upset in 11B? 𝗕𝗏𝗃 had been outscored by Langdon at 𝗕𝗺𝗃 by a combined 158-6 over their last 3 meetings. On Friday, the Braves beat the second-ranked team in 11B, a perennial powerhouse in Langdon, 22-18. Congrats to them. All this madness, and that was just the first Friday in September. How about that? Okay, back to the task at hand. Our Midco Sports Game Ball, sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance, is going to be packaged up and shipped out to Mandan for Lincon Wiseman and the Braves after Lincon rushed for a trio of scores in the huge victory over Century. More on that one in a bit, but let's get to the best of the rest. Another top performer nod for a Cavalier tornado. Landon Carter averaged 15 yards a pop on the run, racking up 150 yards and 3 touchdowns to go with 84 yards through the air and another score. He also sparked a defense that diffused the Rockets of New Rockford Cheyenne in that one. There are 9 teams still undefeated in 9B, and Nelson County is one of them. A big reason why is junior running back Zach Gibson. His QB, Jackson Bumgarn, has been on this list already this season, but it was Gibson leading the way on Friday, rushing for 200 yards and a trio of scores as the Chargers blew past 5th-ranked North Star 28-6. The victory sets up a big tilt on Friday as Nelson County now travels to 3-0 Cavalier. We might have to suspend Trinity from this list soon, but the Titans keep having a new player star every single week. This time it was Gage Glasser stealing the show in the win over Killdeer. Gage took his only reception 63 yards to the house. He rushed for 92 yards and a score. Then he scooped up this punt block and put it in for 6. Throw in a sack on defense and you don't get a much more well-rounded performance than that. Lisbon's Bowden Greenlee had the green light on Friday night. The Buckin' Broncos stampeded for 214 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win over Ellendale-Edgeley-Cullen. He also took an interception to the house for a 4th touchdown. Lisbon takes a 2-0 record into a big Region 1 tilt with Central Cass on Friday night. Plenty of points were scored in Shanley's 41-35 victory over 4th-ranked West Fargo. Right now, Deacon senior QB Michael Rosberg looks like he's going to be good for 300 yards and 5 scores every single week. So we'll highlight his receivers this time. Vachuri Hakim hauled in 4 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Sam Osvik did nearly the same with 6 catches for $115 and a couple of scores. Shanley may have lost some playmakers off last year's team, but they have not missed a beat. Well, the old saying goes, to be the champs, you have to beat the champs. Well, I think teams in 9B would just settle for scoring a point on the champs right now. Lemoore Litchfield Marion is 3-0 with a combined margin of 167 to goose egg. Anthony Hansen continues to hit home runs from the QB spot. He completed 7 of his 8 passes for 218 yards and 3 scores before exiting in the blowout win over Hatton Northwood. That's an average of 31 yards per completion. Over their last 11 regular season games, the Lobos have 10 shutouts. The only team to score on them was Wyndmere-Lidgerwood last fall. Cole Hebel was Mr. Everything in Friday night's win over Carrington. He rushed for a score, hauled in a long receiving touchdown, and took back a pick 6. He's proven to be a threat whenever he touches the ball. That was a big bounce-back win, too, for the Burros. Sophomore quarterback Ben Shep has Velva Drake-Anamoose Garrison looking like a state title contender right now. The Aggies have jumped out to a 3-0 start, averaging 38 points per game. Shep passed for 200 and rushed for 100 yards, combining for 5 touchdowns. He also picked off a pass on defense. And that sophomore class for Velva is loaded, which, by the way, features the younger brothers of current Cincinnati Bengal Cordell Volson. His brothers are Kyle and Zach, a couple of names to keep an eye on in the future and currently as well. How about them 𝗫𝗏𝗄 Braves? 𝗫𝗏𝗄 surprised everyone last year when they went from 2 wins in 2020 to 10 wins in 2021. Granted, they also went from 11-man to 9-man. This year, many counted them out because they were making the move back to 11-man. And boy, is that looking like an awful take. The Braves nabbed their signature win on Friday, upsetting second-ranked Langdon and 𝗵𝗺𝗃 22-18. It's tough to pick just one top performer from this squad. Ryder Pullman and Gabe Nero played great, as did the entire team. But it's senior running back and linebacker Jacob Shriver that gets the nod for me. He led the team with 44 rushing yards and was the MVP of that defense, making 19 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a sack, and a fumble recovery. If you're going to be at a team like the Cardinals, you need some dudes on defense, and Shriver was that dude. 𝗕𝗏𝗀 has another key game again this week against 𝗕𝗺𝗹𝗺 County. Oh, and by the way, they've been playing their home games in roulette as they wait for their new turf field to be finished later this fall. The Thompson Tommies have had back-to-back weeks of close victories, and that's brought out the best in sophomore quarterback and strong safety Jake 𝗕𝗏𝗺. 𝗕𝗏𝗺 completed 15 of 23 passes for 236 yards and a touchdown. Then he added 127 on the ground along with 3 more scores. In that loaded Region 2, only 2 unbeaten teams remain. That's Thompson and 𝗕𝗏𝗺. Those are your 10 top performers. We had another outstanding list to choose from. Cruz Hernandez and Cooper Bull continue to shine for Hankinson. Both had 3 touchdowns in the win over Griggs Midco. Last week's game baller, Clay Hovelson, went off again. Jamestown and Valley City had some worthy candidates submitted too. Every week brings another chance though. As for the trophy ball, Bismarck Century had gone 3 consecutive seasons without giving up 30 or more points. That streak ended on Friday night as Mandan took down the Patriots by a final of 30-13. Perhaps what was more impressive is that the Braves dominated the line of scrimmage, something that has been a trademark of Centuries over the past decade. So, this Midco Sports Game Ball, sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance, is going out to Braves senior running back and linebacker Lincon Wiseman, who ended up rushing for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. But the 31 carries on offense wasn't enough. He made a number of big tackles on defense too, something you don't see all that often at the 11AA level with such a big talent playing both ways. And if Wiseman is wise, he'll let each of his linemen spend a night with that hardware because they earned it too. I could tell you all their names, but I'll just leave that to the head coach.
Our front 5 guys played tremendous football the last couple of weeks, and tonight was no exception. Seth Gerhardt, Owen Gress, Brady Boehm, Caden Steele, Hunter Corbin, and then Big John got in there too. So those guys really covered bodies and gave Lincoln a chance to run.
Mandan will try to move to 3-0 this week against Minot. Keep the nominations coming and head over to our Midco Sports Instagram page to vote right now on our Extra Credit Play of the Week finalists. Enjoy the games this week, everyone. We'll see you on Varsity Sports Live Friday at 10:30.